You're watching India Today Global. India has responded in full measure. The Pahalgam terror attack has changed the playbook for how Pakistan and Pakistan terrorism and Pakistan terrorists have attacked India and what their playbook was. So India held the right to self-defense and the right to respond. Ankit, Koomar, who heads the OSINT team here at the India Today Network, that's the Open Source Intelligence editor OSINT, will explain to us exactly what happened. You're hearing a lot in terms of what India has done, the areas, visuals coming in, but the explanation of why of it, why did India target these 9 areas is what Ankit is going to explain to us. Ankit, so this is the map over here, and you're going to tell us exactly where and why of it.
So let's start with where and what first, right? And a disclaimer, Indian military is expected to have a press briefing detailing further details, but this is based on everything that has been released so far from India, from Pakistan, also from neutral sources, right? So we have done a lot of geolocation, verified social media footages, etc., and this is based on all those evidences. So what we know is that at least 9 targets were hit, at least 9 targets. Now there's a pattern. If you see this part, this is Bahawalpur, this is Muridke. These are in mainland Pakistan. You can say target number 1, target number 2, and then there's a cluster of these, which are either in POK or very close to POK. Now there's a stark difference between these targets and this target. Target number 1, Bahawalpur. Let's try and zoom in to this target. So this is how target number 1, Jamia Subhanallah, outside this at the outskirts of Bahawalpur, this is how it looks like. This compound, this particular compound is called Jamia Subhanallah, better known as the headquarters of Jaish-e-Mohammad. Jaish-e-Mohammad, the same terror outfit that did the parliament attack, that did the Pathankot airbase attack, that did Pulwama in 2019. So we all remember Balakot, right? But Balakot was a training center. It was a semi-permanent kind of a base. But this is the HQ, headquarters of Bahawalpur. Why?
Of Masood Azhar.
Of Masood Azhar. Right?
But was Masood Azhar is known to always stay in Bahawalpur, but not here.
Masood Azhar attends meetings here, but there is no credible evidence that he stays here. Right.
Okay.
So he must have multiple locations. We know for sure that in 2019, after Balakot, he was in Peshawar where an explosion happened. Right. So he keeps changing locations, but this place is the nerve center of JEM, Jaish-e-Mohammad. Asghar Rauf, Talha Saif, all these kind of people, they are a very frequent visitor here. Militants, terrorists even from Afghanistan border, they are brought here for indoctrination. Now, I will show you.
To our viewers, this is what India has been talking about and reaching out to Pakistan that please stop, dismantle this terror infrastructure. This is the terror infrastructure, unimaginable. I mean, we can say whatever we want in terms of what India could have done, can do. This was unimaginable for years. Thinking that India can go in so deep within Pakistani territory and take out terrorist infrastructure in Bahawalpur and Muridke. You'll be explaining Muridke and how it's so close to Lahore. And there was a time when we never thought India would do this, but India has done it.
Interesting, you mentioned the word, you used the word to some kind of put restriction on part of Pakistan, right? What has been happening on ground is exactly opposite to restriction. Now on your left, it's the same place, but it is from 2018. On your right is the same place, but it is from November of 2024.
Look at the infrastructure.
Now everything that you see marked in red has come up over past 2-3 years. So this entire place has kind of doubled since Pakistan was kind of delisted from the grey list, right? 2018.
So this is after
the
getting off the grey list.
so-called whitelisting of Pakistan, the JEM headquarters has been expanding. You know what this thing is? You know what is this?
What is
It's
this?
a swimming pool. It's a swimming pool,
Imagine.
right? At JEM headquarters, there's a swimming pool. I think we should have one more graphics of this. Here you go. So
Wow.
this is the mosque building. There is a swimming pool. This is again under construction part. We expect something to come up. Livestock stables. You have horses there, right? New buildings, new buildings, new buildings, new buildings, new buildings. There's additional security arrangement here. So all this has been happening. So forget Pakistan putting some kind of restriction. In full public view, the HQ of Jaish-e-Mohammad had been expanding. Why? Where does this confidence come from? Because this place is roughly 10-15 kilometers away from an air base of Pakistan Air Force. And this is where this strike makes a difference. So this is target number one. For somebody like Masood Azhar or anybody from Jaish-e-Mohammad higher ups to think that this place might be targeted, right? That was unimaginable.
That's
and
right.
unimaginable has happened.
Unimaginable also because you just mentioned Pakistan Air Force Base in Bahawalpur. How did India manage to go then and hit the Jaish camp?
I think if IAF did not have Rafales, it would have been very difficult. I'm sure operational details will be made public, some kind of operational details will be made public by the relevant authorities. So they would not like to speculate, but without Rafale, it would have been difficult.
We'll show you visuals of how people the next morning have been gathering around these terror camps, taking visuals, so on and so forth. But this is maybe a video of Bahawalpur the moment the attacks happened and people started taking their mobiles out. There you go.
This is social media footage, as you can see. In the satellite pictures, you saw there was a highway, and this was likely shot from that highway by people who were passing by. From again local sources, we know that at least 3 explosions were reported, very large explosions. So unlike Balakot, we expect a very visible damage,
Yes.
very much visible damage.
Yes.
So that was target number 1, the HQ of Jaish-e-Mohammad.
Yes.
Again, if you see the general narrative, it is being pegged as revenge for Pahalgam.
Yes.
I would like to make a correction here. It is not a revenge for Pahalgam. It is revenge for 26/11,
Yes.
for Uri, for
Pulwama.
Why? Because Jaish-e-Mohammad was involved in all those things. Right? Jaish-e-Mohammad was responsible for Parliament attack.
Yes.
Jaish-e-Mohammad was responsible for the attack on our airbase
Yes.
in Pathankot.
Yes.
Jaish-e-Mohammad was responsible for
Pulwama.
Pulwama. Now the second part, Murid K. Why Murid K?
26/11.
26/11. Remember, it's not Indian media saying it. You go back, you see the confessions of David Coleman Headley, arrested by FBI, serving sentence in US jail. He is on record testifying that he visited a Lashkar training camp at Murid K.
Yes.
This is where Murid K is.
Yes.
So target number 2, the nerve center of Lashkar-e-Taiba.
Yes.
So we have an actual image.
This,
So-
viewers, is the camp that has been attacked. And for years, again, I'll go back to for years, Ankit, because you have to emphasize what India has done. It is not a small feat. For years, we've been looking at these camps and saying, this is where Hafiz Saeed's camp is. This is where Masood Azhar's camp is. And this is where they train terrorists against India. Look at the infrastructure.
Again, not just India, even the US.
Yes.
You read all the documentation post 26/11. So this was 16 years, roughly 16 years, 17 years in making. This has been in the making for past 17 years. To be able to strike targets such as Bahawalpur, such as Murid K, That was unimaginable. One would have expected Indian Air Force to strike maybe some launch pads in POK, which it did, right? Which it did. Out of 9, I think there are 5 or 6 are within POK, right? Those are terror launch pads, semi-permanent kind of training centers. But these two, Murid Ke, Bahawalpur, these are the nerve centers of Jaish and Lashkar. It is like home to them. They feel very safe when their new recruits come from distant parts of KPK, maybe Sindh, maybe some from even Afghanistan, right? They feel very safe. They think as if nothing can happen to them while they are here. For the
It was untouchable.
It was untouchable
for years.
Yes.
Because it's so well within Pakistani territory.
It is on the mainland Pakistan.
Yes.
Bahawalpur, as you know, there are nuclear facilities, there are research centers, there is PAF base, right? So it would be the last thing that anybody would expect India, before India and Pakistan would go on a full-fledged war, right?
And Murid Ke very close to Lahore.
Very close to Lahore, Pakistan's most populous city, right?
Yes.
So small tehsil, but very close to Lahore.
Yes.
Lahore, for those who don't know, Pakistan's current Prime Minister spends more time in Lahore.
Yes, they're all Lahori.
No, because
the Sharifs.
Because we track their flight movements. So it is like watching an office cab, right? You see their Gulf Stream take off from Islamabad late evening. It will go to Lahore, and in the morning it will again come back to Islamabad, right?
Also, Ankit, just to add over here, for our viewers to understand how the Sharif brothers have worked. Nawaz Sharif has always said, we need better ties with India, including, the meeting that Shehbaz Sharif had with Nawaz Sharif, where he said that let's not provoke India, let's, have a conversation. He's almost taken on the army, he took on General Musharraf. But Shehbaz Sharif is a different story altogether. He has served as the Chief Minister of the Punjab for years.
Yes.
He has known these people, he's known these terrorist camps, and yet he allowed them to thrive.
Yes.
As Chief Minister of the Punjab, he's worked more closely with the Pakistani establishment and army than Nawaz Sharif ever did. So that is putting it in context and perspective, because today he's the Prime Minister of Pakistan.
And very close to all the regional jamaats of Punjab, because he has been involved in local level politics for his entire political career, right? So very close to all those local jamaats. Now,
let's show the visuals of what happened to.
Before that, I would like to show one piece of evidence. This is a pamphlet. Anybody can ask, how do you know? You know what was supposed to happen? Today, the ISPR, the media wing of Pakistani military, it was supposed to take foreign journalists for a tour to Murid Ke and Bahawalpur, right? And the idea was to show how civilians have been living there, right? Why we say JEM headquarters is in Bahawalpur? Of course, there are intelligence inputs, everything else. This is a pamphlet. This is a pamphlet from 2011 from Al Rahmat Trust, an organization banned by Pakistan. Musharraf banned Jaish-e-Mohammad. Musharraf banned Al Rahmat Trust. Al Rahmat Trust asking money for creation of a great mosque. That is Jamia Masjid Subhanallah, right? And this is their way of collecting fund. This is from 2011. Same year, Osama bin Laden was killed in Abbottabad. This has been happening in Pakistan. So there is enough evidence to establish that this was JEM headquarters. Now let's show one more visuals.
This is Murid Ke.
So just to give some context about the level of damage. Unlike 2016 September after Uri, unlike Feb 2019 Balakot, you don't have to ask for sabut. This time the damage is very much visible, and very extensive,
because there are people there. Balakot was a different geography altogether, where there weren't people. There weren't public to go and take videos and say, okay, this is what happened.
It was on a hilltop.
It was on a hilltop in a very remote area. India had to say, well, this is what we've done to a training center.
Right.
This is right in the heart of Pakistan, around people, residential areas. So you have people with their mobile phones, and this is what the visual evidence is.
Lashkar-e-Taiba, as they call it. And you have people filming the entire scene moments after the attack happened and confirming on camera that the entire masjid has been taken down. So this time the saboot is evident, the saboot has been taken care of, right? So these visuals tell the story about the extent of damage. There is absolutely no doubt, nobody is going to come on TV and say, "Is baar sirf kawa mara hai," right? Remember last time it happened.
Yes.
So this time the evidence is very much clear. And if you see from operational point of view, to be able to hit not 1, not 2, not 3, but 9 targets across Pakistan's eastern borders, including POK, including Murid-K, including Jaish-e-Mohammad HQ in Bahawalpur, that I think is a testimony to our armed forces, because it is one thing to kind of write these plans on paper, but to be able to execute while there is extreme high level of alertness. Everybody was expecting it. It was not a surprise. Everybody in Pakistan Defense Forces had one job to do, right? To stop these attacks. No matter what Pakistan says, no matter what the response is going to be, this time nobody can come and say that nothing happened. Kuch nahi hua, kawwa mara, right? This time you have testimonies of people, eyewitnesses, who are confirming that the damage has been extensive, right?
And there are terrorists who've been killed. We don't know exactly the numbers. We will get confirmation once the official press briefing is held. But then again, we've seen Bahawalpur, Murid-K, the two hubs of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammad. And then you have a series of the terror launch pads and terror camps in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The significance of that, Ankit?
So again, the nature of it. Bahawalpur, permanent, HQ, Murid-K, permanent. As you move north, a lot of it semi-permanent. In Muzaffarabad, POK, semi-permanent, but there are intelligence inputs of linking all these terror launch pads or training centers to one attack or other. Right? We are told some of these launch pads were used in Pahalgam, some of these were JEM launch pads, some of them were Hizbul Mujahideens. So these are kind of operational launch pads. These two are the HQ. So there's a clear pattern. We will hit you everywhere. There is nowhere in Pakistan or in POK that you should feel safe.
Right.
That is one message, because this time it's not just Balakot. It's not just Uri, right? After Uri, we did a surgical strike, right? But that was a very limited operation. This is extensive, unlike anything India has ever done in recent times.
Unlike anything that India has done in recent times, this is going to be the focus in the coming days. Pakistan has already denied any terror camps. They're saying that India's aggression will be responded in full measure. This is the Prime Minister of Pakistan who's come out and said. The Information Minister Ataullah Tarar has come out and said that there were no terrorist camps. Remember, there was one batch of journalists.
There was no Osama bin Laden in Pakistan.
There was no Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad, but he was killed well within Pakistan. And now we have this as the template of what India is going to do. The message very clear: zero tolerance to terrorism. Dr. Jaishankar has tweeted it out. India has reached out to all its allies and partner countries, the United States of America, US, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. United States of America has come out and said that there needs to be de-escalation. India making it very clear that in diplomacy, they're going to ensure that the message is clear. There were no military targets here. There were no civilian targets here, Ankit. This is just terrorism that is being dealt with by India. Why? Because Pakistan failed to do it for India. In fact, Pakistan abetted and supported it. So this is a response to Pakistan. The message very clear that there is going to be zero tolerance to terrorism. What is going to happen over here in the next few days is something that we can anticipate. One is that there are going to be official briefings explaining exactly what India did. On the diplomatic front, led by Dr. Jaishankar and Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, as was done just after the Pahalgam terror attack, there could be a series of meetings with foreign envoys based in Delhi, explaining to them exactly why India did what it did. So there is going to be one, the military front of it, where India is going to brief on what the military operations were. And then there's going to be the diplomatic front, where India is going to explain to the world why it did what it did. Keep watching India Today Global, where we'll be bringing you all the details and analysis, unlike any other news channel or news network, on why things are being done the way they're being done. So keep watching India Today Global for all the latest on India's actions against Pakistan.